With that being 6 o'clock, going to open up the meeting. Mr. Duffy.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Just coming back, and I think I was before you in January or December considering the open space plan update. Planning board review of the draft plan is required before submittal to the Division of Conservation Resources. Just coming back to follow up to see if you guys have any comments or concerns in the plan and to see if we can get a vote to endorse the plan for submittal to this. For those of you who've been on the board for many years, I think this is probably your third time around with the open space and recreation plan update. It's a pretty
Cut and dry.
it's pretty cut and dry.
Was there any major changes, Phil?
Since the draft was printed, no. No, like our prior plan, which was 2016, it prioritizes recreation over open space, although there's some nods to open space. The document exists as a planning document, but as importantly, it exists as a threshold requirement for certain grant programs that the Parks and Recreation Commission in particular, or the Conservation Commission or the Greenland Conservation Trust may wish to pursue moving forward. I prepared a draft letter similar to the ones I prepared for you in 2016 that just identifies your support and also the tasks that make reference to a planning board responsibility in the action plan. You have only 3, so, and I don't think only one of them is new. With your permission, I'll distribute
Yeah.
this to your board. And if these was your approval, after a vote, I will send it down to the orders to print it onto the again for the chairman's signature.
Just sounds better than before.
Looks good to me. Any comments?
So I'm on board where we want.
Doug, anything?
No problem.
Okay, I'll make a motion to get the vote.
Make a motion, we approve
Make a motion to vote.
to vote?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Great, thank you. Before I leave you, we have a couple housekeeping things to do coming up for the annual town meeting. I think I may have mentioned FEMA's requiring we update our floodplain zoning bylaw. This will allow any property owners with national flood insurance to maintain their insurance. FEMA requires that you keep your regulations up to date with their requirements. I was looking to do that in April. I don't know if the planning board is looking to bring any other warrant articles to the town meeting. We can do this in April or May, but we need to get it done before the town meeting. Just wanted to check your schedules. I can handle the advertising and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
we can have that public hearing. If you guys want me to submit the draft floodplain overlay bylaw to you in April, we can have that meeting in May. But again, it's mostly boilerplate. The only substantial change from the existing floodplain overlay bylaw is that FEMA now requires each municipality to designate a person as the floodplain bylaw administrator, which is not a responsibility that's identified in earlier plans. We just accept the updated maps and add that language, and pretty much my understanding is there's not much that's different than our existing bylaw.
Okay, I'll make it a point to come up and talk to you sometime. We'll go over everything.
Great. I have the model from the state. If you want, I can email to Lourdes.
No, I'll come up.
Okay.
It'd be easier.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Phil.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the site plan review special permit, Clinton Real Estate Development, 830, 894 Main Street. Thought we were all set.
We're getting there.
So what's going on?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Mark Donahue from Fletcher Tilton on behalf of Clinton Real Estate Development, Josh Levy, who you have met before. We were here in November and you approved a site plan for 4 buildings at the time. One of those buildings had 2 users in it, as you may recall.
Yep.
A Chase Bank.
The one on the end?
No, it was the second one in.
Second one, okay.
It was this one. That was shown at that time as a proposed Chase Bank and a proposed restaurant operation. Where that is the only part of the site that is being proposed to change with this new filing. That is now becoming split building, switching sides and going here with the Valvoline Oil Change Center here. The Valvoline Oil Change Center is a specially permitted use. The zoning board of appeals has granted that use in that fashion. With the change as proposed, as far as a site plan is concerned, there are certain improvements that occur. When you granted the approval in November, that combined lot needed 59 parking spaces. It had 29. You granted relief as far as that. This lot and this lot are both now individually compliant with zoning in any fashion. At the time, the restaurant building was approximately a little over 3,000 square feet. The Valvoline building is significantly smaller at approximately 1,700 or 1,800 square feet. That shrinkage, together with reduction of the parking, allows the creation of a green space area right out here that now is able for additional landscaping to be done. So that's essentially the nature of the changes that are proposed from the proposed use. Obviously, the development team is here to answer any particular questions that the board may have. I should add also, as far as on site plan, there was a significant reduction in the estimated traffic as a result of the change from a casual fast food restaurant to Valvoline, which obviously operates really during business hours. Not that many people willing to wait for their oil change. Usually a queue of 2 to 3 is about the max.
Any questions from board? Deal?
So what precipitated this change is because we went to an oil change shop.
Correct.
And Chase wanted to be freestanding.
Yeah. So we're increasing penetrations in the street again?
I think we actually are able to consolidate some of them now, right?
In terms of the curb cuts, you're saying?
No, remember the issue with the
Penetration for
chopping
the
up too many
utilities.
lines for utilities?
Yes, so for those, we do have another penetration just because of the nature of the Valvoline and it's being a standalone.
Mhm.
So those being connected into the road will create another kind of curb cut, but we have reduced it so it is a minimal amount.
And I think it allowed us to aggregate it with another one now, so you get a
Correct.
larger stretch of replacement.
Yeah.
But
Got it?
Yeah, I mean, I did, yeah.
and it's all brick too. It's a good looking.
All right, so I guess you're just looking for a vote for an approval
Yes, sir.
for them?
I think a vote, as far as, just because we have the November decision and we're gonna have this decision, it might make sense that Mr. Costa and I work together. and
To
bring-
have an amendment and
not
then,
really-
Whether it's amendment, a new one, we can,
It's an,
Figure out the
not
right
really an amendment, but I mean, everything that's written in the other one has to be written into this one.
right. So
Yeah.
And it's a public hearing, so we do have to go back. To the public.
okay, so if that's the case, any comment from the public? If there is any, just please state your name and your address. Sir?
Mike and Will, 32 Wall Street. Just curious with the Starbucks and Wendy's and so forth, what's been looked at for a trash mitigation event that, for, it's a direct access right across the street. As he knows, that's how the wind blows, so.
So for traffic mitigation, we do have it on the dumpsters located on site. So Starbucks is located in the middle parking area, and Wendy's also kind of in the located in the parking areas. So trash pickup, I believe, for both of those, will be standard for mostly normal businesses. So, they'll, the employees will kind of carry out, they do have ramps leading out to the dumpsters for both Wendy's and Starbucks. So they'll be mostly be utilized.
My other question is, and I apologize in advance for not being at the other meetings, but as far as lighting and time of operations and things of that nature. We live, 2 and 3 houses.
We're just talking about these two buildings right now.
Main Street, so we're just, a little late to the dance here, because quite frankly, we didn't know about it.
Yeah, so most of the restaurants, they'll be operating, early hours at 8 AM, and then the latest one, will be the New Up Gas, which is, supposed to close at 10 PM. The other restaurants will be open later than that, but only if you drive through.
Starbucks isn't gonna open until 8 in the morning.
That doesn't sound right.
No, Starbucks will be open 5:30.
5 to 6.
And then we've also addressed the light cutoff and bleed with the light fixtures we're doing, the wall packs to make sure it's not bleeding out into the neighbors or the outside area.
Will it be a reduction phase for hours?
What do you mean? Oh, with the lights off, yes, yes. Correct. And also we have a REA agreement to your first question that governs the maintenance responsibilities and requirements and holds under pretty strict standards too for trash.
Primarily, we're worried about Wall Street because the traffic count on that street is just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it's crazy. And I said to him, Roman, if they wanted to do radar on that street, we might get our taxes lowered.
Yeah, I think on this one, since we're replacing the restaurant with the Valvoline, we studied it with, I think, a more conservative approach. We have our traffic engineer. But it's gonna be a 10 to 14% reduction in traffic from what's currently
So are the curb cuts gonna be all individual, or are they gonna be?
3, right? Excuse me, those 4 right there.
Yeah, so there's one of them, the Starbucks side, one that will now be on the Valvoline side, or sorry, the Chase Bank side, and then there will be 2 for the gas station side.
And to disperse it out. We also added a drive lane in the middle here.
Where's Wall Street on that plan across from which Jason?
Right across from these.
So is there a curb cut directly across from the wall?
No.
I appreciate your help. We just, like I said, we didn't know about the other meetings.
And grab us after. Good night, if there's any other questions too, or.
Yeah. It's an improvement, gotcha.
Yes.
It's gonna be an improvement, that's.
Any other, public comment? That being none,
Motion to close the public hearing.
all in favor?
Motion to approve the site plan for the Clinton Real Estate Development, 894 Main Street with the waivers and the same contingencies that were on the initial.
Decision. All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just coordinate with Mr. Costa and
Certainly will.
we can get everything signed.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, no, we got the Clinton. I think they did everything.
You know, that's a good question.
I mean, that's given a whole new.
But the only thing is, they probably won't have the decision. You know what I mean? Yeah, we will probably won't see that until next month. I don't know. I'll have to ask Gavin. Thank you. All right, what the heck?
Yeah. A couple of different things. Change.
All right, with that being, moving on with the site plan review, Clinton Middle School. It's continuation from January 7th, 2025, 100-2 West Boylston Street.
Good evening, Mr.
Sir.
Chair, members of the board.
Evening.
So I am Peter Caruso, Lamoureux Pagano Associates, the architect. Joining me tonight is Chelsea Christensen, as well as Alexa Brennan in the audience from Niche Engineering, our civil engineer, as well as Matt Wilder from Fontaine Brothers, the construction manager who will be in charge of the site and overseeing the construction of the building.
Okay. Floor's yours. Go ahead.
So from our last meeting, the board requested several items which we provided with us shortly thereafter, less than 2 weeks later. Items like site security, dust control, site laydown areas, storage, a construction schedule, as well as details regarding wheel washes. Have you received them and had a chance to look at all that information?
I just got them tonight. I'm looking at them now, but if you want to go through them real quick.
All right, Matt, you wanna go through at least the phasing plans showing the laydown areas?
Good evening. So this is site plan. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the general layout where the new school's going and what's going on. So I'll kind of glance over that those items, but for the actual site itself, we're going to create a construction entrance, keep separation from the existing school facility to the new. With that, we're going to have a step back gate, so trucks will go off the road, not block traffic, things like that. And right beyond that gate, we'll have the wash. Coming into the site, a couple trailers for the entrance. So if there's any issues with this, the town, the school, or anything, we're going to be right front center. Around the back, throughout the project, there's going to be some changes with these kind of three general areas. Some of it's going to be soft piling, some of it's going to be material laydown. So this area over here, it could be a stockpile at the beginning, you know, strip a room off, things like that. And then once we get the building steel on site, we're going to possibly need that area for that. So things couldn't move around, but as we do that, we will change any erosion controls measures for that, those purposes. Kind of beginning phase.
So I would, excuse me, one other item through the chair I'd like everyone to know is that we just received the approved request for determination of applicability from Concom, so they have signed off on the project. We just got that Friday.
Perfect. We had to fucking read this.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Phase two, getting well along the building, still gonna have those three zones that are going to be utilized throughout the project. For at least the first two phases, trailers, wheel wash, all that those things are gonna remain the same. Right through when we get to build, and be moving on to the demo portion. We will have this gate over here. We won't have any access going out. That's really for
Emergency. Yep.
There is a entrance over here, things like that. Town services might need to get to a kind of emergency situation, but that's lock and key. Nobody's going to know.
Primary in and out will be on West Boylston Street.
And then there will be a portion of time later on, as you'll see, that will pass them over here to full purpose. Well, I guess it's 99% of what we're going to do. There's going to be Jersey barriers in between. This is going to get wide enough for the buses to come out, so we're going to do everything possible to keep that center. There drop off, and we'll still continue around the back, still be Jersey barrier separation there as well. So really, besides the visual, there's not gonna be much to do that. We would, you know,
Yeah, I think you touched everything there.
Where are, Mr. Chairman, where are all the tradespeople gonna be parking?
So, right in this area here, we're gonna have a gravel laydown area, this is where all the geothermal walls are, so there's gonna be a point where we're gonna have light bodies on fade to geothermal.
Yeah, I get it.
Once we get 70, 90 bodies on site, that's when this is gonna come into play, so it'll be all gravel, we'll have the loop road in, and we'll have all, trace parking there. There might be a period over the summer that will work out with the school if there's no workflow.
Yep.
Maybe grab a spot.
Okay.
During the school year, we're at that fence.
And through the chair, I believe, unless I'm mistaken, we have sign off from Haley and Ward as well for peer review.
Yeah, I saw some of the peer review stuff.
So getting into the summer of 27, so this is what we're gonna be, giving the school over. And we're gonna be providing this access road for FF&E, things like that. To move in and whatnot. We're gonna move our fence line, or we're gonna keep this one kind of about what it is and extend our fence line this way to now to this site. Demo will be ongoing. Lay down stockpile area will be here. There will be, utilizing the hydrants for wash downs, for trucks, and also keeping the dust down on the building as demolished. Trailers will move over to this side. So we'll be completely abandoning where the schools will be moving in. So we'll shift our focus down there. So there will be that both, this will be stepped in from the road again, so trucks can get off the road and not block the public way and the water tables. Question on the comment? That's a fun time period. Yeah.
Doug,
I'm also.
John,
Get it going.
Bill,
What?
any questions?
No, I got nothing. I mean, well.
Nah.
Lost my train of thought. So I did read somewhere where the stockpile, the first phase and a half, where you're gonna have all the stockpiles of soil, you're gonna tack them up if they're staying for any amount of time.
Yeah.
Hide, whatever, just so they're not, 'cause that's really the big concern for me is the wind. Cause the neighbors are just gonna flip out.
Most of it, the long-term storage is gonna be room.
Mhm.
So
Right.
that-
All right.
Anything else?
Okay.
I don't have anything. Any comment? Anybody from the public comment? If you do, state your name and your address. That being none.
I make a motion to approve with Adam helping write the decision, just make sure the wind's.
Close the meeting.
Can I just get confirmation? I'm gonna be sure we get this one right. Tom's audio. So when did this hearing open? I know it was on last agenda, but it was prior to that, wasn't it? No, last agenda.
Did you guys open it?
No, we didn't open it because we didn't have enough people.
Right.
So last month was the first hearing.
As long as it was following the notices.
Yeah.
Make a motion, we close the meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to approve with their additional.
Condition.
Second, yeah.
All in favor? Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Dig it up. Keep it clean.
Keep the neighbors happy.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, give us the word on both this project entirely. Michael Ward, Town Administrator.
If there's no objection, I was just asking, if now that we've completed this process, if we can pay the bills for your review consultants directly from the project instead of creating another whole bank account for an escrow.
I don't see why we can't.
Yeah.
So just get the bills and Lourdes will get the bills and then we can we'll forward them upstairs to you and we'll go from there.
And that would help and allow us to keep track of the project expenses better and save us from setting up another. account
Absolutely.
in the town account to transfer to Michelle. So, all right,
You got it.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
That moving on, site plan review for Farrier Realty Trust, Hannigan Engineering, 625 Main Street and 13 Water Street. Mr. Philbin.
Stephen Philbin representing petitioner. When we last met, which was our first meeting for this project, you gave us a list of those items that you'd like us to complete. We have not completed those items at this point.
Okay.
The traffic study is still in the works. I had a long conversation with the architect regarding the new building that's going to be constructed along Water Street to make certain it's going to blend in with the existing building plus surrounding areas. So we're waiting for those drawings to come through as well. So we're requesting a continuance to the April meeting if we could.
Okay. That will be April 1st, April Fool's Day.
Perfect.
All right. See you April 1st.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you. That moving on, site plan review special permit for Yangling Zhang, 119 Chestnut Street. Hello,
Hey, how are you, Paul?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I mean, as you can see, I could not even afford to have my attorney coming this time, although I'm doing everything, try to compliance. So may I ask what you would like looking for to prove the gym will be used instead of having it vacant? So
Well,
who could satisfy you and
Have we-
give it in a reasonable way?
I think if I remember correctly, I think we were working on getting some extra parking there at
Here's the
for the
thing.
church, because after the last meeting with some of the paperwork that you submitted, something from the church about parking, I just got this in the mail from the church saying that they're really not in support of giving you any extra parking.
Right, that sounds like a very weird thing. I've been dealing with the church for almost like half year or 8 months. And initially, Father Mazzoni is so kind to offer to rent to us for the building, and then changed his mind. But in written twice, he would like to rent it to the tenant. But after you questioning last meeting, everything seems strange. I'm not sure why the church renting the space become a joke. Now it is something, it broke apart, right? So I'm working on my own and trying to satisfy whatever you need to make this building not being vacant and being a big damage for the town's appearing or image.
Okay, so what are you looking for?
I'm looking for what you would need from me, because I mean,
Didn't-
we were
didn't we
working
go
with the
didn't we
government for a
go
long
down-
time. Now it's broke apart. For whatever reason that happened from last week,
What?
from last meeting, sorry. Yeah, when you felt it's a joke for the church would rent us a space, while the church have
And then
quit
I
it
think
renting
that's,
twice.
that's where I went. I said, well, if you guys can show us that you could
It's okay.
show
It's
us,
o- it's
show us,
okay,
show
Paul.
us,
I mean-
show us that parking.
I mean,
yeah,
Paul, that's fine. I
we
mean,
were-
everything
I
had
was
been
in- I
recorded
was in
last
the-
time.
Can
I mean,
fin-
what
can-
what exactly
can I
word
finish?
used
Can I
is
finish?
recorded. I mean, I also follow your step. when you asked me to go to the zoning appeal board, I went there asking to have they approve, and they were joking around. Why the planning board would send me over there? And also, our building inspector, he know this for more than a year, and asked him specifically if I need to go to the zoning board. No, he said nothing. And then why everything, the last meeting, and then tell me to guide me to something, which I, in my knowledge, being the flipping business for a decade, it doesn't sound reasonable, but I did it anyway. It had been a joke for them. Why you would be sending me over there? I have been obstacle from the minute I purchased the building. I'm not competing with everyone. No one wants that building. I got it from my heart. I think that's a beautiful building, should not be teared down. And now I have been treated like an enemy for someone trying to mistakenly steal the building. That's why I have been seeing obstacles from all levels, and including ask me to install the sprinkler building. Let me finish, please. Including the building.
Why,
inspector.
you wouldn't let me finish?
No, I'm sorry.
You wouldn't let me finish?
Okay, fine. If you want to prevent me not to talk
I'm
and
not
not to tell what skin I've been seeing, I
All right.
can stick my mouth up.
Please stop.
Okay. This scam from all level.
Is this an open hearing still?
Yes. Okay, last meeting, we asked you to try to show us that you're gonna have some extra parking there. The last meeting, there was a problem with the engineering bill. And I hopefully that breakdown got forwarded to you of what the costs were. So you knew.
Yeah, the breakdown is the cost for me.
You know, and it seems like every step, there's some kind of problem. And we asked you to show the parking. Do you show it? Have you been able to show the parking?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you mean. Every step has a problem. When you ask me to show the parking, I show the parking. When I try
What,
to
where's, how will
Okay,
you,
I'm sorry.
how will you,
Let me correct
let
you.
me finish.
Okay.
How are you showing the parking tonight? Do you have a plan? Is there a picture? Is there anything? No,
I
there
think
isn't.
it is in the application, and then also the feedback is coming from the consulting company. You designate only one consulting company. I have no choice by paying whatever price they're trying to put on me. I have never seen any town would do that. It's called monopoly. And they charge almost 2,000 per hour on my case. And you ask me to pay for it? Sorry. You already tried every way to prevent me to rent this building out. I have zero profit. Okay, you ask me to pay someone $2,000 to review my
Okay, so
plan?
what are you looking for tonight? Are you looking for a vote?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to see whatever
Are
I
you
can
looking
do.
for a vote for some kind of approval for anything?
The approval should be sent to you, is that right?
I don't see anything.
I don't even know what we're talking about right now. Negative. Stuart Airhead.
No, we don't have anything, Becca. So.
I think basically, it's sent to, the secretary, and then I believe that was sent to every one of you. And it's nothing about assess how many parking space we need. And from the package, the tenant specify, he only need 10 parking space. Okay, and then in the evaluation letter sent by the consultant company, basically it said the building would need, the parking space would need 5 feet away from the building. And also, it could not be parking in the front of the building. And I have a question. I see many of the parking like what I request in Clinton, everywhere else. Why my application would be a problem? Is it against me? I'm sorry, this is my feeling. I'm not sure. Everything I've done so here is so difficult. I have been in this country for 20 years. I'm not sure. This is the first time I see it's really something I see obstacle for no reason for all different directions.
It's an obstacle because it's a difficult building.
I'm sorry.
It's
I think-
it's an obstacle. Let me finish, please. It's an obstacle because it's a difficult building. You're in an R1 district, and what you want to do with that building isn't allowed.
Well, it's not
Period.
allowed.
To have your gym and stuff. That's not
sorry,
allowed. And your building was empty for over 2 years. So everything reverts back. You know, you don't seem to see this.
Of course, I don't
We've
see
gone
it.
over this.
We have the building inspector here. Is he still here? He already checked the record. It's not for 2 years. You're trying to reverse everything back. I'm sorry.
Okay,
You know that have been approved already, and you're not talking about 2 years, trying to even prevent me to keep the building as a commercial use. What is your plan, Paul?
what
You're
is my
trying to
plan?
actually force me out of business is your plan?
Why
Why ask-
this is my fault?
Because you asked me, it's
Okay.
left for 2 years. It's not true.
Yes, it is.
Check the public. With the
This already
close
approved.
the hearing.
You trying to disapprove it? This already approved, already been in effect. I'm using it as a commercial building. Now you said not allowed? Can you please ask the building inspector coming here? When we have influential figure step in to this deal, everything resolved. Why only one people can do the business over here? Is it because his color is white? Because he's a man? Why you talk back? I'm also asking to use the building for the benefit of the town, the people, the kids here. And you're laughing to the fact why the church would rent me the space. Now the church is gone. I'm only asking to use the existing parking space they
All
have.
right, you can stop yelling, please.
I hope you can respect the fact, do not manipulate and misrepresent and make a false information. Try to trick everyone. Everyone in town have been tricked. This is the biggest scam I ever seen in 20 years in this country.
Okay. I'm gonna open it up. Is there any comment from anybody in the public? If there is, please state your name and your address. Mr. Duffy?
Phil Duffy, Community and Economic Development Director. Based on the information I see before me, it does not appear that the board is sufficiently satisfied to vote in the affirmative on this. If that is the case, I'd advise the applicants Ms. Yang, excuse me, to not force the vote. She may not be aware, but if there's a vote taken and it is a negative vote, there's a zoning freeze in place for 2 years that will prevent her from coming back to you with a characteristically similar application. Then her course would be to continue this meeting until that information is identified or to withdraw without prejudice.
Did you understand that?
I'm sorry.
Did you understand what Mr. Duffy just said? Could you hear him? Is if you force a vote tonight,
I'm not forced you to vote.
and no, let me finish. If we force a vote tonight and it's a negative vote, you can't do anything for 2 years with that building.
Anything similar?
Anything similar.
So actually, this building is under the mercy of the board member. If you allow, it could be practical. Because if you say no, can you give me a reason why? I do everything I can to satisfy.
Mr.
But it had to
Chairman,
be reasonable.
there's just no parking there. That's the issue. Bottom line.
No, I showed the plan, it could be, the parking could be created. And then the consultant already write and reviewed. And I'm not sure, what can I do? You asked me to hire the consulting company, I hire, and then pay the money and they get the feedback. And this was written, I'm not sure why that would not be sent to you to review. And that's why I was trying to tell, that's exactly what the letter had been stating. So I listened to your instruction what to do. My only plan is got the building rented.
Mr. Chairman, if I might,
Yes.
I think you're missing the point that our engineer reviews your application for us. Then your engineer is supposed to satisfy our engineer. Our engineer does not satisfy your application. I think you're mixing that up a little. Because you're supposed to bring, after the feedback, a revised site plan back to us for approval. We have no site plan. We have an incomplete application at best. And you're asking for us to jump through the moon for a building that we can't do. If you had an engineer that brought us back a site plan of some sort, we'd have something to look at.
Okay.
We got zero.
I think this is where,
So if you don't withdraw your application tonight, I am gonna propose that we vote no due to an incomplete application and the lack of parking. Just so you know where I'm coming from, right out of the gate, so I'm not fooling you.
I appreciate that constructive
Okay.
feedback. I would do that. If that is the thing, yeah, you, again, once again, if you give me constructive feedback, I would do whatever to comply. Thank you for your time.
So she was drawing,
Are you withdrawing your application or what are you doing?
let her go. Motion to close the public hearing.
Second. Are you requesting to withdraw that prejudice?
Again, I think you were asking me to complete the application because.
So
it's
do you want a
incomplete.
continuance to next month or do you want to withdraw your application altogether?
No, I will complete next time when I got the application complete per your request. with the
So do you
feedback.
want to come back next month?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we're gonna get you continuance till April 1st.
All right.
Can I suggest that we provide a bit of clarity as to what you're expecting in the next meeting? Because I was here a month ago and I heard you ask for things. It doesn't sound like you got any of what you asked for. So
No.
I'm fearful we're going to be back here in a month and the applicant's not going to really appreciate what it means to quote unquote complete the application.
Please.
So my understanding of what you're asking for, the zoning bylaw has a parking table. You in fact included a copy
I
of it.
know that, yes. I know that, yes.
So the parking table says for indoor commercial recreation, which is what you're proposing.
Right?
One space is required for each 3 persons with capacity based on the state building. So I think the issue, and I don't want to speak for the board, but I think the issue the board had at the last meeting was the next page of your application explains, and I'm just reading from this letter to you from Barry Gannick. It says, assuming the tenant caps the number of people at 30 at a time, the site can designate 10 spaces for their use. The problem is your parking table isn't based upon what an applicant chooses to cap the
That's
building.
right, that's what we explained.
It's based upon capacity. So what you need to do, I think, step one is perform a capacity analysis. What's the capacity of that building? And I think it actually says elsewhere in your application package, the capacity is something like 100 people. So if it's 100 people, divide 3 spaces into 100, what's that? 33.
35.
You need 33.3 spaces. You only have 11 spaces. So the bylaw does give the board the authority to waive parking requirements through the special permit process. But I think you've heard from them that they may not be prepared to waive the number down from 33 or 34 all the way to 11. Unless you provide them with something to show that you can satisfy the parking elsewhere. They've done this with other applications. We've received lease agreements, right of entry, easement interests, showing that the applicant has a right to use parking on an adjacent or nearby property so that it can satisfy or more closely satisfy the requirement. So I think that's the issue, that we have a gap of 33 minus 11. We have a gap of 22 spaces.
And it's a little, I think a little more than that, because she wants to park in front of the building, which we can't have.
Right, so what if there's 4 spaces in front of the building? So now you're down from 11 to 7. So now the gap is between 7 and 33 spaces. So now your gap is 20, 27?
So, regarding to that, what you're saying, the capacity analysis, again, according to my, architect. And also, I hope we hold a meeting with, Ms. Duffy, the building inspector, and also the town manager was involved as well. And then, I think there's, of course, as you reading it, because, 3 people, only 1 parking space required. And we have the person, the tenant, at the established track record, he do not need to that much people going there. And that's why at that meeting, we all agree the 8 to 11 parking space will be the maximum this particular business would use. And if there's a concern, alternatively, we will agree you can put a restriction over there. It would never have any given time. You would have that much people over there.
So I heard the applicant refer earlier to, she referred to it as feeling as if she got the runaround, where she was sent to the ZBA and then she ended up at the planning board. I wasn't a part of those discussions. Maybe Mr. Duffy was, maybe he wasn't. It sounds to me like, based upon the history of this building, the reason maybe why the applicant went before the zoning board of appeals is because there was some question about the non-conforming status of the property. If it was pre-existing non-conforming and it hadn't forfeited that, and I know you commented on the 2-year period that passed or maybe didn't pass, if it was pre-existing non-conforming, then maybe the zoning board of appeals would have some authority to recognize, for example, the existing X number of parking spaces, look at the new potential use and grant relief. That would not be within your purview, it would be within the ZBA's purview. But it sounds like she went to the ZBA and the ZBA didn't grant relief or determined that it wasn't required to grant relief and sent it back to the planning board. So you can only act on what's before you and what's within your purview. You don't have the authority to grant relief under 40A6, which is for non-conformities. That's strictly within the purview of the ZBA. Your authority is to grant site plan approval and special permits for uses. In this case, it's a special permitted use, and it requires a special permit for parking because it can't provide the requisite amount of parking spaces. And so all you can look at within your purview is the use that's being proposed and whether there's enough parking for that use. The history of the property and whether it qualified for non-conforming protections is really not on the table in this proceeding. If the applicant wants to go back and talk to the zoning board and make the case to the zoning board, that's for the zoning board to decide. But I don't represent the zoning board, so I don't know what the zoning board has done or what its position is on this.
I'm sorry, I'm not quite get it. Why I would need to go to the zoning board, because the reason last time I've been told to go to the zoning board because it said it would allow to use the current building would is okay to use as a gym. So that is exactly a question. I went there and they said this is already revert back to what the original status, and they do not need to review it again. So that was why they said I don't need to be going there. And I think again, according to my architect's review and according to what the actual use, it would only be 11 parking space. Again, as alternative, if you still have concern, it would think the people would misuse that gym. As I think last time, one of the board members said, sometimes they may feel they have more parking like car over there. And I talked to the tenant and he said, when there's many car over there, it works for the food drive from the church. So that's why you can see the letter from him. The business never be grow like that. And also, I hope you in another perspective. If no one use, I could use the building for my own family to use it as a basketball or badminton. And it doesn't really require 30 parking space for only 10 people to use over there.
But it does under the plain language of the bylaw. So I appreciate your argument that maybe from a practical perspective, your experience is that that level of parking, that number of parking spaces hasn't been required. But the bylaw explicitly requires it. So the only way you can work around the bylaw provisions, well, there's 2 ways to do it. One is to come to this board and ask them to grant a special permit to reduce the parking from 33 or 34 spaces down to effectively 7 spaces because the 4 in front of the building don't count. Sounds like this board's not prepared to do that. So you can satisfy this board by finding some other way to get parking. Or if you want to make the argument that no, you don't have other parking, you're not going to provide other parking, you don't need other parking, that's a nonconformity argument that has to go to the zoning board of appeals. And I apologize that the ZBA didn't understand that. Again, I don't represent the ZBA. The planning board doesn't communicate directly with the ZBA. But if you're trying to avail yourself of the fact that you've had a history of use of this property with only 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 spaces, that's a nonconformity argument, and it's not within the purview of this board.
So let me understand correctly. So the reason now you asked me to go to the zoning board is because the parking which I'm proposing for this particular usage or the gym is not matching the bylaws requirement. Is that right?
That's correct. The only nuance is, and I don't want to mince words here, but I'm not asking you to do anything. I don't dictate where you go. I mean, part of the challenge here is that this is a very complex site, as the board has said on multiple occasions. This is a complicated proposal, much more so than it might look like it is on its face. I've just got into the law of special permits, findings, nonconformities, and you don't have counsel representing you or anybody assisting you through the process. This is a complicated application that can go a number of different ways to try to get the proper permits and approvals. And the board can only do what's within the board's purview.
I think, Adam, you already saw, I have a council sitting here last time. It doesn't help. And also, again, this building have been carried vacant and everything I tried to rent it out and have been stopped. And I don't have the financial capability to continue to have someone to be played. I'm sorry, that's just, and you asked me to hire a professional. That's why he have been hired to be here. And asked me to hire different architect or whatever. That's why we have the whole package over here, doing the zoning analysis and come to the conclusion, yes, we only need 11 parking space. But so I see there's a different analysis from the people I hired. They are professional, and the conclusion you have, that is why we have the meeting with the building inspector and Ms. Duffy and the town manager. And we I think at the time we have an agreement, yes, because the actual people use would come to this, that would be adaptable. So that's why we, even at the prior letter, the tenant request from the church, as you can see, and he's not asking for even more than 20, because that's why we come to the conclusion, he doesn't need that much. And that is that's actual need, and also having agreed by the inspector. I think, I'm sorry, I have to say it's very complicated. I have been in the real estate business for 19 years, and I never see any town will require to get a new tenant in, will have to go through this complicated process.
It's required as a matter of state law. Every time you change the status of non-conforming property, it's required in 99% of communities when we change the use of a property to a use that's special permitted. You need to go to a planning board, a zoning board, and get it.
Let me understand correctly. So every time when I have a new tenant in, I had to go through the whole trial?
If the use that the tenant is putting the property to falls into a different category within the use table, and that requires a special permit that you don't have, yes, that's correct.
So you said the answer to the question, because you bring 2 points. One, you said it's a non-conforming building. But since this building had been approved, it's not lapping for 2 years, we reverse it back to the commercial use. If according to, I went to the zoning board and they said, if that is the case, and the zoning board will not require any complicated process. So if that's the case, the table, this particular use is permitted by the bylaw. So we do not even need special permit, if I understand correctly. So the only thing it would be the parking space, because I went, when the reason when we had to come to this point is because the building inspector said when you need to have the new occupant, it would be approved. I thought it would be easy thing, like everywhere doing business, like doing business everywhere in the whole Massachusetts.
Was the prior use of this property indoor commercial recreation? What was here before?
It was a National Guard armory.
Okay, so it's a different.
That was left, and then the state police were in there for a short amount of time, and then the state auctioned the building.
So it's a different use than it was before.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is why there's the need for a special permit, which is why there's a need for site plan approval, which is why there's the need for parking relief. Because it's a different use than what existed before. So this is sort of not the time or the place to have this extended dialogue, and I didn't mean to sort of.
No.
Cut this off, but I think it's important that she has some direction coming
Yeah.
back. If the board is gonna say, we're not gonna grant you a special permit for relief from parking for 7 spaces, unless you show us that you can have spaces elsewhere, I think the applicant ought to know that now. If the applicant can't get spaces elsewhere, then the
I
applicant,
think,
it's a discretionary permit.
Yeah, we told her that multiple times. And I think the ZBA didn't do her justice either. That would have changed things here, right?
Maybe not.
So
so you know what you have to do for next month? Correct?
I know I would adjust the whatever the feedback from the letter, right? And that's what my understanding so far on to adjust whatever the feedback and prepare the full how to make those planned. But I think now we've seen a new comment which I would never be able to overcome because again, I do everything I can and ask around and per business, a common sense from a business person, I ask all the around the building, all the possible parking around the building. And I'm not sure when we pay and no one want to rent it. But the last one, the church trying to help, and now it's become impossible. The door is closed suddenly. So the only way we could produce the parking for this building to open the door to serve the local use is to use the existing parking space. But if you telling me it's not possible, I'm not sure what else I can do and coming back.
Well, you're gonna have to figure that out.
So I guess that would be the question. So
There's no more questions on this. You get Mr. Costa, you get some input, from us. The public hearing's been closed. We need to move on with other business, so.
all right.
To be clear, you didn't close the hearing, you just continued the hearing.
Yeah.
Continuation.
All right, with that being said, Eric Medigan, Liberty Compassion. Sir.
How you doing?
Good evening. Kay Doyle from Liberty Compassion as well. And as you know, Eric Merrigan is here as well. We're responding.
Issue here, we got a complaint. I think you saw that.
Yep.
The odor down there. I think all of us, I mean, I've smelled it going by. I think all of us have, like to see something done about it.
Yep.
I don't think it's fair to the people that live down there or people that have to pass through that area, so.
Absolutely.
We have some kind of corrective action plan in place? Are we doing something or what's going on?
Yes. So we were originally supposed to be here last month, but there was a little notice kerfuffle with the agenda and we used our time wisely.
Good.
We actually, prior to getting the complaint, we had already shut down the operation that typically causes odor complaints, which is extraction. So that's not being done at that site anymore. While we waited for tonight, we actually called in a consultant to help us out in terms of what we can do, because we don't want to be causing a problem, obviously. We've called the consultant in, they've given us some options, and what we think is the most sensible way to go forward is of the various filters that we employ in the, what's the correct word? Filtration system?
Yeah, we have air scrubbers inside the building.
Yeah. So carbon filters are the most effective to filter any kind of smell out of the building. And what we would like to do is 2 things. We would like to double the time that we're changing the carbon filters over. So right now they get changed every so often. We want to increase that so that it is, you know, essentially doing a more powerful, more frequent a job of getting rid of that odor. The other thing we'd like to do is understand where the complaints are coming from in terms of literally location. So we're going to install equipment on the roof. That way, if we get a complaint and we can track down when that person, so say if you had driven by and you had your windows down and you were enjoying a nice day, but then you caught the odor, you could tell us where you were. That equipment will tell us where exactly the odor
Where it's coming from in the
Ex-
plant.
Exactly. So we can try and nail down exactly what the problem is, because honestly, with having gotten rid of extraction, it shouldn't be smelling anymore. So we need to figure that out. But in the meantime, we want to do what we can to shut down any impact that we're having on people who are passing by, because we want to be good citizens of the town. So if that's all right with you, we would like to put that together in an odor mitigation plan, which we had agreed to when we did a host community agreement with the town, and submit that.
Sounds good to me.
Why'd you quit the extraction?
We moved a lot of the production to the Holyoke facility. It's just scale economy.
Yeah. I
You
get
guys
it.
know the
That's what I was
market
asking.
kind of went south.
Yeah, sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, I mean, you addressed the problem, so hopefully we'll work.
We hope so too. Thank you very much for seeing us this evening.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason Bakanowski, 99 Parker Street. What is it? Jason, anybody?
Show me what to get them.
Just pull this spoon.
It must be 99.
Oops, there you go.
79. Wait a minute. Maybe not. I think it's 79.
All right, want me to say this?
Yeah, sit right up front.
You can sit right there.
Yeah, it is.
What's going on?
Hi, so I paid a visit to the health board yesterday and they referred me to this meeting. I'm looking to get a change of use for 99 Parker Street for some light scale, small scale potato chip manufacturing. So I was told I had to propose it to you guys.
What's the current use?
What's
the current use there now?
It's zoned as industrial, but I mean, I didn't get the,
There's nothing there, right?
yeah, it's basically open warehouse space, right?
Yeah, I'm running through science because I've got a furniture rental business in here.
It's where all the roll-offs are over there,
Exactly.
the brick building and the, yeah.
You want to put a potato chip thing?
It'd be very small. You know, it's basically a fryer that's 10 times what you would see in any restaurant, 10 times the size. Runs on propane, and then the potato peeling and slicing equipment's pretty small. Doesn't take a lot of electricity. I have, you know, a floor plan and the equipment that would be used if you want to review.
No.
Mr. Chairman, how many square feet is it?
So he was gonna partition 2,600 square feet,
Yeah, it's like 24.
24, okay, 24.
I don't know.
Potato chips.
And they're made with beef tallow, not vegetable oils like most other brands, so.
Yeah, just see Lourdes, get the paperwork started for the change of use, and see you next month and go from there.
Okay, as a next step, can someone from the health department or the DPW tell me, you know, what I'll need to do to, you know, get.
You'll have to see the Board of Health.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say this, so I was in contact with the state, they were like, oh, it's no problem with us, it's up to Clinton.
Yeah,
We'll sign-
see the Board of Health, and they'll be able to steer you in the right direction of their requirements.
Okay, because yeah, I mean,
Mr. Salmon, you get the building inspector there.
I think we need a chapter 34 report on there for kitchen operation.
Okay,
And also we need a use of occupancy for his business down there.
Yeah, definitely.
okay,
That would be the
Change use.
That's all. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's all I had, if you guys are okay with it. Thank
Can't
you.
wait. Good luck.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
David Sidelsky, A&R request. Motion to close.
Triple.
Let's go.
Evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. I'm here with my client, James Tumalo. Up off of Berlin Street, there is a old way that used to go to a meeting house. What we tried to do is with bearing and distance, define the extents of the old way and create a Form A plan. Can I approach the bench?
Yes, please.
Bench. This is the Massachusetts interactive map that shows the way as it goes out. The way as it goes out to the meeting house. I also have a copy that's not in front of you yet.
This would be Burl.
This is over here. This is the road up. That way should be over here.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
Show you guys. This is the road into the woodlands, Clinton Ave. This is the way as it's shown on the Clinton street map. And that's the way right in there that goes into that meeting house that's in the back.
When you say a way, is that road name or anything, or just a way?
No, meeting house way.
You want to show this plan, Dave?
All right, so let's get down to brass tacks. What do we want to do?
Meeting house is at the very end, it'll be on the third lot. There'll be two lots created on the left and two lots created on the right.
Talking 5 watts total, right?
This is the existing house and garage. It's at the end of that way. You can see the way defined lightly within the boundaries of the way is in this section here. We've located the wetlands. We have the required upland area for each lot. And this would be the extent of the way itself. It's 33 feet wide, 2 rod road. And those would be the lots located.
Can they have enough room to turn a fire truck in here? Dave?
Yes.
In regard to the fire department, I had the chief look at this when we originally started. I have him put that note on the plan Monday morning when we looked at it to say it was okay with him. Glad to look at the note if he so desired. I do have.
With the way in existence, talking about in the bylaws, there's 5 requirements. One is gonna be at least 18 inches wide, 8 inches of gravel. The other one is gonna be created before.
18 inches or 18 feet?
18 feet wide, 8.
On another note, the fire department requested that the road.
Could one person speak at a time, please?
I just want to interject on the fire department's requirements.
Do you want to come up here to the next?
I don't, you're better talking to me, Dave. Okay.
Just stifle him, Jim.
The 5 requirements are listed under section 3.2.4. We meet those requirements. It talks about not coming out on more than a 75-degree angle with the roadway. It talks about having at least 18 feet wide, 8 inches of gravel. It also talks that there's gonna be more than 6 units. It's gotta be paved. It isn't currently, it's a gravel area. And then it talks about the way it was in existence and it shows up on the street maps and it shows up on the town of Clinton street map. The house in the back was 1920, used to be an old meeting house. It's like the old Polish clubs and others. The windows are like 10 feet high, 12 feet high, like a meeting house would have had. And I think the KKK used to be there back in 1928.
In the front where the trailer is this, are you
The
adding?
trailer is up in here.
Yeah,
We're
are you adding some
Yeah.
square footage to this lot right there?
Taking a piece from here and a piece from here that's not needed in the subdivision, it's gonna get added to that lot.
So that'll bring that up to a total of 16,000.
Over here, no, it's got 16. This would be what this would be brought up, so it's in the two parcels, to be up to 28 and change. From the top corner
Okay,
here.
yeah. Okay.
There's calculations, there's a note above it that talks about the two parcels, it talks about the upland area in those parcels and the square footage.
So I think the plan, the eventual plan for the trailer will be to get rid of that.
Yes. And clean that area out.
And that with that extra area from these two pieces right here, that'll give you enough for a single family house or a duplex or something.
Correct, single over. The requirement is it's R2, so the requirement would be 18,000. It's got 16 now, so it does need some more area to conform. Because when the trailer gets taken away, I don't know if it still maintains its grandfather.
Okay.
The existing house meets the setbacks that are required for the zone. How does the board feel? Or does the board have any questions on it?
Pretty straightforward. You're not gonna have to put a hydrant in, correct?
No,
This
there's
is a hydrant.
actually, we shown on the street, there's a hydrant in this area here. The last sewer manhole is over here. We're gonna be extending sewer in. There'll be a plan given to
But
DPW.
these houses in the back, these are the elevation's up, so
Yeah, this
they're not gonna have pumps or anything, correct?
No, none of the pumps. And of course, these two lots will require conservation filing because of the wetlands that are shown.
Okay. I'm good with it. Any questions from any?
If it's a legal way, I never heard of it, but if it's there, it's there, it's there.
You know, the thing is, it shows up on the street map and because it's not like has been farmed, but it shows up on the street map and shows up on the map.
Yeah. Doesn't need roll. Sign it.
There.
Yeah.
Remember my own brother and Baker.
Read the marker.
Give me very much.
Want to apologize to the chairman for the stuff that we need.
Duly noted. Yeah, put those.
How many do you require for one? All right, 4 and 1 for us, 5, so we have 6. Right, so whatever you need for.
We have to-
Moving fill in.
Did move my body sooner or later. I think this is it anyways.
Yes, what do we need?
With an application and one of these. I'll bring on.
Another check.
I just need another check. I think one is 50, is it just one? One lot?
No, it's 4 lots.
4 lots, okay,
Well,
so,
it's actually 5.
so from 50 plus times 5, right?
So why don't
So-
you give me 10? So this check is here to the town of Clinton. And
Yeah.
what are we gonna need for the assessments?
Just same thing, town of Clinton, and they just put assessors. I'm gonna talk to Denora tomorrow, make sure that I'm getting the right number. And then I'll fill it in and send you a copy, okay, so that you know. So. So 40 for each,
Probably how much?
I don't know.
You'll find it. You
I'll
can
find
fill
it and then I'll send you a copy to you, over to David. So
That's perfect. Now you can send it to me.
Okay, so that you have your email, right?
Yeah, you do.
So I'll send you a copy of both. Send you out the chicken. Okay, and this is, let's put here for the assessor, so we know. That's
Okay.
Under memo. And that's the one. Question. Always try that. Perfect. Thank you.
You guys ever send a run signature?
Probably.
Piece of application which is complete.
I'll stop.
Give
me some.
An original.
Okay.
Not looking for a new house, eh? Not looking for a new house.
Because you're the whole excitement.
Oh, she was never stopped. Have you ever my son Jane?
I see you with your car. I
She lives around the house.
765.
Yeah.
I see you doing. Like I'm so good.
What doing are you? What doing are you?
Good for.
Should have been a job.
Review. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm done. The second year.
Okay, yeah.
Love it.
No one likes moving down there. Yeah.
I think that's easy. Isn't that incredible?
We had,
That's just.
they had another guy that took it over for 1 year
Yes.
and he stopped coming and you
He's
guys had to
like,
come.
I'm glad that and Roll was there.
Yeah.
We're very appreciative.
I do his office, his old
Yes.
office across the street.
Yes.
So it's not fun for the winter. Gives me something to do.
That's not an easy job.
No.
People, the truck, no, you gotta know people.
Yeah,
It's a lot,
I enjoy it, which is weird.
so I appreciate it. When I see you there, I'm like, yeah.
Maybe I should go buy the old Armory now. Think it's on sale.
Please do.
Gotta rip half of it down. That's what you gotta do.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Good luck. Doug, can you sign this?
Get all those orders?
No, it's for a decision for
But Dave did a good job. He wouldn't let me talk. We take one for himself.
All right, I reviewed the minutes from last month, from February 4th, 2025.
Okay, I just want to thank the board. Thank you very much.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the amendment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.